Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, we have had a flurry of activity and a flurry of news coming in over the wire overnight. Now, we have documents that have been unsealed. We have more pictures. We just have a lot to get to. So, no mountains for me today. Instead, I will be in the studio for pretty much the whole entire day. I'm talking all day. And I'll be pumping out some segments. I'll be working on the podcast, trying to answer some emails. And, just trying to make sure that we are up to date on what's going on here on the show. So expect several segments today. Usually we get the morning update, daily drop, or just the one episode. Today, there should be several. I already uploaded a flashback episode earlier this morning. Now, we're going to have this first update that we're doing right now, and then there are definitely going to be some more today. There's just a lot to get to, and I've decided that Thursdays from here on out are going to be studio days. I've been a little bit behind lately with all of the emails and all of that stuff. So I'm going to start dedicating a full day on Thursdays every single week to just focusing on everything show. Meaning just sit in the studio and I'm going to tune everything else out. We're just going to focus on new episodes, polishing things up, working on other projects, stuff like that. But Thursdays are going to be that dedicated day. And I'm going to make it a point on Thursdays from now on to try and get all of the emails answered and squared away. I know a lot of you have sent me emails and I haven't been able to respond as of yet. So I'm going to try and go through and make sure that moving forward we get all of those emails answered. But it's just there's a lot of them. And with all of the things I have going on in my regular life as well as the show, it's a juggling act. So as of now, starting this week today, Thursdays will be dedicated to nothing but working on the show for me, at least 10 hours a day. So if you have some emails that you wanted to send me that I haven't answered, or you want to try to contact me through a different means via Facebook or Twitter, go for it. Like I said, I'm going to have the computer on all day. I'm sitting here, I'm watching the craziness going on in the stock market with all of different shorts. I'm keeping an eye on the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. And me and my dogs are just hanging out, having a day. So, if you're looking to contact me, go ahead and send me a message, Twitter, shoot me a message on Facebook. And like I said, email as well, but I'm backed up over there, so I'm trying to get to those emails in the order that they were sent. So we'll see how much headway I make doing that today. All right, so like I said, we have a lot to discuss as far as the case and what has occurred overnight. Several new articles, several new bits of context, and more receipts. Now, we know for sure that Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein were telling two different stories in their depositions. Now, we know that because we've seen the documentation. We've went over the article last night, and we see that it was all about Jeffrey Epstein saving himself. They went in there with a whole plan, a whole plot. Jeffrey Epstein calls the audible at the line of scrimmage, and he goes into self-preservation mode, leaving his disgusting friend, old Serpentino, the bipedal serpent herself, to hold the bag. And we see the results of that. Because of those depositions, that's how Ghislaine Maxwell ended up getting charged with perjury. So we see in real time Jeffrey Epstein exhibiting the behavior of the snake and reptile that he is, and he is only worried about one thing, folks, himself. How long have I been saying that? All of these people that talked about how they were girlfriend and boyfriend, and please, cover story. That shit was as transparent could be. Like I said, if you haven't seen the show The Americans, watch it. The same way that relationship was put together, it's the same thing with Epstein and Maxwell. All the pieces start to fit, right? And that episode that I uploaded earlier this morning, the flashback episode, talking about how Ghislaine Maxwell's pops, Robert Maxwell, was the catalyst and the person who introduced them, was a good lead-in to all of this stuff that we're going to talk about today. Because, folks, I have never been more sure that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were nothing more than business associates. They weren't friends. They weren't lovers. None of that shit. All of that was a cover. This was an absolute parasitic relationship on both ends. No love. There's no, oh, this is my boyfriend. BS. And I haven't seen one damn thing, one bit of evidence to prove otherwise, that they were really in love or Jeffrey Epstein actually cared about her. In fact, we have seen the opposite with the new testimony and with the new revelations that we discussed last night. It shows you the complete opposite. Epstein was in it for himself. Had nothing to do with Ghislaine Maxwell or friends or anything. There is not a person on this planet dude wouldn't have burned at the pyre if it meant saving himself. All right, our first article for the day is from the New York Post. Headline: Ghislaine Maxwell forced girls into lurid performances for Jeffrey Epstein. Court documents reveal. Oh boy, that sounds like a great time, huh? I mean, are you kidding me right now? And this lady has the audacity to sit there in her jail cell and cry about not having a computer on the weekends, or someone showing up and making sure she's still alive. Meanwhile, according to court documents, she's making girls perform lurid performances for Jeffrey disgusting-ass Epstein. And you wonder why it's all about technicalities when we talk about her defense. It most certainly isn't about her innocence, because, folks, there's not a leg to stand on there. You show me anything that points to her being innocent. I haven't seen it yet. I certainly have not seen any evidence that points to her being innocent, circumstantial or otherwise. They've brought nothing but innuendo and narrative to the table. That's it. Nothing to back it up. No receipts, no corroborating witnesses, no corroborating statements. Just a bunch of BS muddying of the waters. All they have, your pictures are fake. Meanwhile, everybody knows those pictures aren't fake. Give me a break. I mean, are you kidding me right now? It is such an absolute grasp at straws to try and go with that strategy. And anybody using that strategy, well, you know that they're grasping at straws. This article was authored by Lee Brown and Ben Furherd. Accused Serpentino Ghislaine Maxwell once directed a room of underage girls to kiss, dance, and touch one another in a sexual way for late pedophile boss Jeffrey Epstein, according to newly released court documents. Don't you think that enough right there should be what it takes to send her to prison for the rest of her life? If you're having a bunch of underage girls dance in an explicit way, touch each other, and do it all for the entertainment of some disgusting-ass pervert, you should go to prison for that alone. But nah, even though it was mentioned in court documents, even though people had talked about it, even though people knew, Ghislaine Maxwell somehow was never arrested, never brought to justice, and never had to answer for her malfeasance. Well, fast forward to today, and now All of the evidence is coming forth, and she still has no answers. All she has are technicalities and BS. A witness told of the alleged creepy, forced performance and testimony that was revealed in 112 court documents running to thousands of pages that were released late Wednesday. So all of these documents started to come out, right? And obviously, thousands of pages. I'm going through them as quickly as possible, but there's a lot to get through, right? So I want to pound out a couple of these segments, and then we'll go back and read through the documents, and fill in whatever blanks that might appear. But it's disturbing as F, folks. We have another witness who is saying that this performance, they witnessed this performance. I mean, are you kidding me right now? How in the world were these people able to get away with this for so long? So many people knew about this, and what it does, it really shines a light on all of those jackasses who act like they had no idea what was going on. So what, this performance only happened one time and only for Jeffrey Epstein? Or did these performances happen for all of Jeffrey's guests that came over for an, I'm doing air quotes now, massage? I'm not buying any of their narrative, and usually it's the other way around, right? You're innocent until proven guilty. And 99.9% of the time, that's a fact. But when it comes to this, I mean, how long are you going to be a fellow traveler? If you were there and you just witnessed these dance routines, I think you're a sick bastard and need to be put on blast. And all of these people who have denied it, all of these people who said they have no idea what Jeffrey Epstein was up to, in my opinion, they are all straight up liars. They also include a handwritten telephone note from July 2004 in which Maxwell, now 59, warned Epstein that a girl age 14 at the time was available and that he had no one for tomorrow. Oh yeah, because all normal people get massages from 14-year-old girls. That's exactly what normal rich people do. Yeah, you gotta get me a 14-year-old girl to come over and give me a massage. Yeah, right. Rich people call in a masseuse from, some sort of reputable massage institute. Or they go to a place like at the Venetian, the Canyon Rocks, or Rocks Canyon Spa, or whatever it's called. My point is, when you have this kind of money, you don't have 14-year-old girls coming over to give you a massage, okay? There is no explanation for it, no reasoning for it, and any single person who picked up a phone and helped facilitate this shit needs to be in prison. I'm looking at you, Core 4. Another witness was recorded as being in tears as he recalled a 15-year-old girl in utmost distress, claiming that Maxwell stole the young girl's passport and tried to make her have sex with Epstein, and then he threatened her. So that's the 15-year-old Swedish girl that we've talked about several times here, with the Dubins, etc., etc. And you want to talk about disturbing? I mean, imagine the audacity of these people to take her passport. Folks, we're dealing with some of the most disgusting, draconian, devious sons of bitches in history. Not only did they take the passport of this young girl, they then take her to Glenn and Eva Dubin's house, where she's in tears, she's crying. The whole entire situation is just, it's so maddening that it's almost hard to put into words how this was allowed to occur for so long. And people like Glenn Dubin, who are still living the high life and popping their caviar and drinking their champagne and, hanging around with other smarmy sons of bitches, guess what, buddy? Your day is coming. You have not been forgotten, not in the least. So enjoy it now, okay? Remember, 2020 was the year that the predators turn into the prey. And 2021, well, this is the year that the predators pay. And it's coming, Mr. Dubin. Don't think we've forgotten you. Don't think that we've forgotten the 15-year-old girl. Don't think we've any of that. And certainly don't think we have forgotten about what Virginia alleges you did to her. So your time's coming, Mr. Dubin. Another article about you and the old wifey is certainly in the pipeline. And have no fear, the spotlight will once again be shined on you. The disturbing allegations were part of a trove of documents released by U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska, superhero, from a since-settled lawsuit brought against Maxwell by one of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Roberts. Although Maxwell was allowed to keep documents detailing her sex life private, the release sections included testimony that Maxwell and Epstein had sex sessions with strap-ons and dildos. What? Was Epstein getting pegged by Ghislaine Maxwell? He's in there doing his best Chuck Rhodes impersonation. Is he wearing the gimp suit? The plot thickens. Most damningly, a witness, whose name was redacted, testified that he watched Maxwell direct a room full of underage girls to kiss, dance, and touch one another in a sexual way for Maxwell and Epstein to watch, the document stated. Expect this person, who has their name redacted, to be a witness at the trial for the government, whoever this person is. And also expect the pilot Rogers and Adam Perry Lang, amongst others. All of these people are cooperating with the authorities. So whoever this person is, I would not doubt that this person is also going to be state's evidence. Another witness also testified that Maxwell recruited her from her school campus to have sex with Epstein with lies about being her personal assistant, the report said. Some of the most explicit testimony comes from a deposition by Roberts' ex-boyfriend, Anthony Figueroa. Asked if Roberts ever talked to him about her often repeated claim that she was made to have sex with Prince Andrew, he admitted he could not recall her doing so, but said it could be possible. But Figueroa said Epstein did want the accuser to have sex with Miss Maxwell and all the other girls, and that she was forced into a threesome after Jeffrey wanted Virginia to have sex with Miss Maxwell, who used strap-ons and dildos on her, the Mail said. That's so disgusting to even recount. It makes me feel dirty even talking about that shit. Like I have a mouthful of rhinoceros shit in my mouth or something. That's how gross I feel. And this serpent has the audacity to act like she's innocent, to act like Virginia's lying? Come on, man. The evidence doesn't bear out. All right? The facts don't play that way. And it's rather obvious that everything Virginia has said about these people is coming to light, is becoming a reality. And these documents and these different court drops that we keep getting just continue to add receipts to the pile. Miss Maxwell and Jeffrey would obviously be doing stuff, all three of them together, he said, according to the report. They would all go out to the clubs to pick up girls and try to find them to bring back for Jeffrey. And then she told me about how, like I said, her and Miss Maxwell and Jeffrey were all intimate together on multiple occasions, Figueroa reportedly stated. So again, another witness stating that Maxwell, Epstein, and Virginia were engaged in this behavior. How many more receipts are needed? These documents also show how Maxwell tried to dismiss the complaints made by Roberts by claiming she had an opioid addiction and had previously cried rape as a teenager. She branded Roberts a professional victim and sexually permissive by digging up earlier police reports, according to the report. Well, yeah, that's what they do, right? They will try and use anything in your past to try and make you look bad. If you had a drug problem, you're a drug addict. You come from a broken home, oh, you're obviously stupid and poor and not worth anything. That's what they try and do. Meanwhile, we all know that that kind of strategy just does not work anymore, okay? Just because, even if, let's say somebody is a drug addict, that means it's okay for them to be raped and abused? A human is a human, and because somebody has made bad choices in their life and got addicted to drugs or ended up becoming a prostitute, that doesn't give anybody the right to abuse them or to act like they're less than, because they're not. We all better get a grip, all right? We're all humans. None of us are worth more than others, man. Take a deep, hard look in the mirror. We're all the same, folks. Our blood all pumps the same. Every one of us puts our pants on the same in the morning, and our socks. Just because somebody has made bad decisions in their lives, because they're on drugs, or because they're a hooker, doesn't mean they're a throwaway or that their lives don't mean shit. It should be the opposite. We should be looking to help those people more. I think it's time that we flip the script and we become more worried about our fellow man and woman. However, Maxwell's plan of attack came undone when two of her own witnesses called to defend her in the lawsuit said they witnessed her escort young girls he brought over to Epstein's home to Epstein for acts of sex. They also said Maxwell called him on the phone asking him to bring over girls to Epstein's home, according to the documents. Her own witnesses. Let me reiterate. Her own witnesses said that. Okay? What more is needed for a conviction here? What are we waiting for? What were they waiting for all of these years? And you know this crazy part is, folks, none of this would have ever come to light if the battle hadn't been waged. If Virginia hadn't taken the narrative to the people. If the other ladies who had been abused by Epstein hadn't had enough and taken the battle to the people, these documents would still be sealed. All of these people would still be going on with their lives, and the rest of us would be none the wiser. And the survivors, well, they would have been left alone again. But guess what? Not this time. And all of these witnesses from these documents that we're hearing about, all of these people are going to be called as witnesses in this case. I am almost 100% sure of it. Now, there is actual live testimonial evidence that Maxwell was a procurer of young girls for sex with Jeffrey Epstein, with whom she shared a home and a life, thus validating Miss Roberts' claims. Lawyers for Roberts said of the witness testimony, 100%. Now it's not just he said, she said. Receipts, folks. Receipts asked for, receipts given. Now go home, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Maxwell has been held without bail since pleading not guilty in July to recruiting girls for Epstein to abuse in the mid-1990s. Epstein, 66, hanged himself in his Manhattan lockup in August 2019 as he awaited a sex trafficking trial, allegedly. All right, folks, so there you have it. The first segment of the day. Ghislaine Maxwell making young girls explicitly dance, touch each other, kiss for her and Jeffrey Epstein's entertainment as if they are some 11th century sultan in the middle of a harem. Oh, and not just witnessed by Virginia, by the way, but a corroborating witness. So, folks, when you hear people start trying to talk a little bit of rubbish here, and you hear people talk about how, oh, well, these girls were prostitutes, they were getting paid. They weren't, okay? These were little girls from broken homes, 17, 16. I don't even care if they're 18. Manipulated, groomed, and had this lifestyle normalized. But guess what? There was nothing normal about it. And now, all of these years later, with that curtain pulled back, yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell and the rest of you, it's your time to be put on blast. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBY_CAPUCCI. All of the links that go with this episode can be found in the description box. And to everybody who has donated to the podcast and supported us, thank you folks so much. All right, I'll be back in a little while with another segment.